Know that we are an international station heard in over 21 countries. And today, I am going, I believe, all the way to the UK, London, I believe. If I'm wrong, you're going to correct me, sister, of where you coming from. But, Sister Sarah, how you doing this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm in London, UK, so you got it right the first time.
Yes. Look at that smile. Okay, I'm just going to start off just right off the bat. They got
hmm
black people in London?
Come on now. What do you mean? We're everywhere. We're on the moon if you check properly.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. She said, check properly. See, you are our sister.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to sit in on your listening party, and
Yes.
we absolutely adored you. We loved you, and a part of what our radio station is doing is we want to bridge the gap. Because,
Mm.
see, God is being worshiped all over the world. And when you look, and I look in the mirror and I say, does my sister got braids too? I'm like saying, if I didn't hear the accent, I would say, oh, she from Georgia.
Oh wow. Yeah, of course. We're all the same at the end of the day, aren't we?
Amen,
We're all
amen.
the same. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it with you and just say if you can officially say your full, what we say, government name, and then let's talk about the journey, because you're not a newcomer. We might be introducing you to some, but you are really a veteran in the industry. So let's just start off with your government name, if you will, and then let's talk about your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, so my government name is interesting. That's a good one. My name is Sarah, and my last name is Teibo.
Hmm.
People sometimes struggle to pronounce that, but it's Teibo, Teibo. And I'm British born, but I'm Nigerian. So I'm from the continent of Africa. I'm married with two kids. I have a day job, but I do music. I lead worship in my local church. I have three albums out, and I love cooking and experimenting with food from around the world, actually. My family are typically my guinea pigs for different recipes and ideas. But yeah, that's a bit about me.
Okay, wait a minute. So you say that you love experiment with cooking. So let's just start off with the cooking. If I'm coming to the UK right now to come visit
hmm
you, and I said I want you to make me a meal that's gonna make my toes curl, what would you cook?
There would be so much choice because I love cooking from all over the world. So I could make you a paella, I could make you jollof rice from Nigeria, I could make you a risotto, I could make you Indian curry, I could make all sorts. In my
Man,
in my household, typically what tends to happen is we could start the day with an English breakfast,
uh-huh.
have a Nigerian lunch, and then have Italian for dinner. So like I just try I love trying all sorts.
So let me ask you this question. Being that it seems like when people are in other places other than the United States, you all travel to many different countries. So let's talk about your travels and where have you been? Because you have had the opportunity to lead worship on a lot of different places. So let's just talk about your travels and the different experiences. Because I tell people you ain't seen worship until you go to the Caribbean or to Africa. So
Yeah, you're right. I
I just
agree.
let's talk about your travels.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you started the question by saying people outside of the US travel. So you guys probably don't, but anyway, I digress. So I've traveled across the UK. I've traveled across Europe. I've been to Italy. I've been to Australia, all the way down under on tour in Africa. I've been to obviously I'm from Nigeria, and I've done South Africa. I've done Ghana. I was going to be going to East Africa, and then COVID happened. So
Mhm.
hopefully when things lift up again, we'll be doing Tanzania and potentially Kenya as well. But I enjoy traveling. I really do. Love going around and ministering and being a blessing to people. I've been to the US, but not to minister.
Mhm.
I was at Dallas, Texas about 10 years ago for
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
But I am looking forward to coming to the US to minister, and I'm sure that would happen very soon.
Did you see her speak it into existence? She said, I'm sure that it's going to happen very soon. Why is it? Because my brother Andrew and sister Shireen, we get ready to build this bridge from all over the country, and we're going to be traveling to different artists, especially the big artists, the what I call the trendsetters, the ones that make you go, oh my Jesus, I'm just going close into worship. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your songwriting process and how this album came about because it was pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, this album, I got the instruction back in 2018. Speaking of traveling, I was in South Africa in 2018 and on tour, and I just had a very clear instruction in my spirit. And I was literally promoting my new album at the time.
Hmm.
So I hadn't even rinsed that off yet. I hadn't taken the labels off, and God was saying to me, your next project was going to be a worship album, a resource. It was really clear that it had to be a resource for corporate and personal worship. So I knew straight away what the kind of journey, what the assignment, what the task was about. And I have to say, given that I've been leading worship since my teenage years, I'm not a stranger to being, to singing worship music. However, I find it easier to sing worship music that's written
Hmm.
than to actually, because you can write music. For me, I speak for myself. I can write worship music for my personal use.
Hmm.
I can write worship music spontaneously on stage. My last two albums were full of contemporary urban gospel music, which, in my opinion, is slightly different from writing for use
Hmm.
in church. They're two different things because for me, as a worship leader, the first thing I look for is doctrinal soundness.
Hmm.
And when God instructs you to write for the church, you're like, which doctrine are we going to adopt now? Because
Hmm.
everyone has their own views about so many things. I mean, only recently I learned about a church that I've got friends at, and they're telling us, they believe in this? And they're like, really? I had no idea. And they're like, every other church. So my first burden was, Lord, I need to make sure that it's doctrinally sound. It can
Hmm.
sound great, it can have all these harmonies, but it has to be rooted in the word. And so I knew that was a huge responsibility, and I really was passionate about making sure that each and every single song on the album, obviously at the end of the day, not everyone is going to agree with your theology, but
Hmm.
at least they had to be grounded in sound doctrine. And then obviously the writing process was really versatile because we serve a versatile God. It wasn't like I went into a room and I came up with 10 songs after playing on the piano, whatever.
Hmm.
I had nothing. So I had no songs. So it wasn't, I was on an interview the other day and I said to someone, it wasn't like I have a book of 20 songs and then God said, no, and then I decided rather to put some in an album.
Hmm.
When I'd finished my last album, I'd written all the songs for that album. Obviously, I have all these rough ideas and things. You have like 50 voice notes in your phone that you just don't know what to do with, but none
Hmm.
of them are album material. But this album, none of the things I had were album material. So I knew I had to really, hone in and write. But I had no title. Then in 2019, God gave me the title of the album to be Restored. And at the time, I was thinking, was it me being restored? Was it hope being restored? Was it people coming to Christ and being restored? What did you want me to write or say or speak to on the theme restored? I was not sure, but I just went on and I started writing the other songs like Spirit Come, Glorious King, Victory. I started working on all the other songs, which came in different ways as well. They all have unique stories. I don't have all, you don't have all the time to go through all the stories of how all the songs came, but I was still looking to God for the title track Restored. Lord, what is it that you're saying through this song? And my personal plan, having had the direction in 2018, 2019, was to bring the album out in 2020. Obviously, we know what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Nobody's plans ever, no one's plans came to fruition in 2020. So, and also as 2020 unraveled and things became clearer, I began to understand what God wanted to say with the word restored, because the reality is not one person on this planet Earth in 2020 went without experiencing loss. If
Hmm.
it was loss of life, loss of livelihood, loss of time, loss of hope,
Hmm.
loss of, zeal, loss of faith, people lost things. Whatever it was, whatever the magnitude, loss was prevalent. There was so much devastation. And then it began to dawn on me why 2021 was the year and restored was the title,
Hmm.
because God wants us to focus back on restoring, rebuilding, restarting, hope and faith restored. And then I knew what the title track had to be, what I needed to write to that. And that's why the chorus of that song is, now the battle's won, new life has begun. You've restored my soul. You have made me whole. The restoration is not about cars, money, jobs, or houses. It's about our soul being restored, because that is where our strength is. That is where our strength lies. So that is the story of restored.
So let me ask you this question because, not only are you a beautiful person on the inside, but you're a beautiful person on the outside. But your
Oh,
album
thank you.
cover was very, very unique. Let's talk about this album cover because I thought it was very artsy.
Yes, the album cover, that there's a long story to that. And it was very intentional, even though when we got to it, it felt like, yeah, we nailed it. But all the artwork on the album was meant to be like watercolor painting.
Mm-hmm.
So from when I started with Spirit Come, it was the picture of a dove, and then with Glorious King was a picture of a lion in regal state in royalty, and then Victory. It was all watercolor painting.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the guys on my team was asking me, "So when are we going to see your face? Like, why are you putting all these pictures?" And I'm like, "That is going to be the unveiling when the album comes out." And so I just knew it was going to be a watercolor, but the posture wasn't something I'd premeditated, right? I just knew it was going to be a watercolor painting of myself, but I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. And then on the day of the live recording, I just took some pictures and I just happened to have that pose. And as soon as I saw it, I just knew that was a picture. And some people have actually called it the Sarah Lisa or the Black Mona
That's
Lisa
what I was like.
because
I was like saying, "Go on, Sarah Lisa."
exactly. But it wasn't premeditated at all. I knew it was going to be a watercolor painting,
Mm-hmm.
but the pose just happened. And the thing is, the reality, which is sad, the sad reality is I'm bad at posing for pictures. I could take like 1,000 pictures in that one pose
Mm-hmm.
before I think, oh, then hand on hips, hand folded, and then what? I'm like, what do you want me to do? I know it sounds really boring, but it's like hand on hips, hands folded, and then what? But no, so that was how it came about. But also, I was trying to tell a story of being restored. So the artwork is all about not just my picture, but a painting that was being restored to its its state of glory, original state of glory. And that is what Christ does when he comes into our lives. He's the master painter, he's the master, creator, he's the author of our lives and of our future. And so it was really about talking about that restoration work that he does. He beautifies us when we put our faith in him.
Well, Sister Sarah, I'm gonna tease you. You so deep, I gotta put some scuba gear on, and so I can get down there with you, cause I'm like saying, I mean that was scuba gear deep. I couldn't even use one of those things that I could just go on the surface. I gotta go deeper to get where you at. I love it. So let me ask this question: wife and mother, how do you balance it off? And do your children look at you and be like, "My mommy's a hit maker"?
Yeah, well, my kids actually are really proud of what I do. My younger one in particular always wants to listen to my music.
Mhm.
I remember the other day she was on YouTube on the TV and she was like, "Mom, how do I find you on YouTube? I want to give you some views."
She's like, "Look, I'm gonna manage you
Like,
one day. Here we go."
yeah, she's my absolute biggest fan. But no, it's interesting juggling everything because it's
Mhm,
tough. But I find involving my family in the process
mhm,
makes for light work. So
mhm,
my husband is always involved. I mean, from when before I even started, we had a discussion. We were really clear on where to draw the line when it came to booking, so I'm not over exerted. Just like you can't go over X number of bookings in a month, otherwise we won't have time for the family.
mhm,
I prioritize my church over everything. If I have a booking on the day that I'm on the rota to lead worship, I don't I don't compromise on that. I prioritize being in church and leading worship. And then my kids are part of everything I do. Like in my music videos, you'd find my kids there. In the Victory, for example, the one that has the memojis, the bobbing heads.
mhm.
I don't know if you've seen that, but my kids are involved in creating that as well. The other day, I was
Wow.
designing a flyer, and my daughter gave me an idea of, oh, why don't you put it that way? I literally involve, and I find involving them makes them feel valued, and it
Uh-huh.
makes for light work because you're not trying to think of this and that and the other. Obviously, you have to plan ahead and delegate when necessary, but involving the family is a great way to make everyone feel valued and part of the journey and the success as well.
I'm loving listening to you talk. When you say light work, I'm gonna start using that one. Yes, yes, it makes for light work. You know, here's the unique thing, and this is what I love about when we talk to people in different countries, is that we get to hear the vernacular that you use, and we're literally able to learn and to literally celebrate our likeness and our difference. So tell
Yeah.
me, as you travel around the world, I got to ask these. I'm asking these because you say you're a cook. You love to cook. What is the most unique thing that you have ever consumed?
Oh my. Oh my. That's a really good question. I'm so careful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I don't like trying things that I feel like I'm not going to be able to eat because I
Mm-hmm.
love to enjoy my food. But oh goodness me, what is do you know what? I don't know because I'm not daring. I'm not that daring, I have to say. But one thing I will say, right, because I can't answer that question, but I will say that everywhere I go, I look for a Nigerian restaurant.
Okay.
Even if I go to the North Pole,
Uh huh.
I will look for an African restaurant. Like my family knows when we go on holiday, there will be a day that's dedicated to looking for African food wherever it is. So
Okay. So let me ask
so
you a
that one
question.
I can tell you.
So I'm in California, if I wanted to go to a Nigerian restaurant, what should I order that will make me
Jollof rice with
okay.
plantain. It's called dodo. When it's
Uh,
fried, it's called dodo,
uh,
and like a spicy meat sauce.
okay.
But you
Okay.
have to have jollof rice if you go to a Nigerian
Now I
restaurant.
have
It's an
had that
orange.
before.
There you go.
Yeah.
Almost everyone in the world has had it.
Yeah. So here's question number two, and that is simply, where's your most favorite place to travel to?
Oh, that's a good question. And it's the thing, I haven't been there yet, but the Caribbean.
Okay.
I love the Caribbean. I've seen lovely pictures and videos. I'd love to be there. I haven't. That is my favorite place to go, but I
Okay.
haven't been yet.
So we're gonna hook you up with your team up with landlord who does his show. He's on our station too from the Caribbean, and he's big in Bahamas and all over. So we're gonna hook you up and make that exchange happen, so that you
Ooh,
can
that would be
get there.
nice.
Okay.
I would love to.
So let's ask this question: how did you hook up with Andrew and Shireen?
Oh, they came to an award show that I was at some years ago,
Hmm.
and they interviewed me for their channel, and that was how I got to meet them, and we've been friends ever since. And I just love how they've taken UK gospel and just flown with it and just given it wings as well. They've really created a huge platform for UK artists, which I think is such a needed thing because you can make all the music in the world, but then if there's no platforms to share it or to push it forward,
Hmm.
then it's really tough. So I really, really applaud what they've done with Visions TV and Unbound PR.
Yeah, and we're loving them because they have joined the God Radio family, and so they have a show on at 9 a.m. in the UK from our platform here. And one of the things that when we talked and we met and everything, I said, the reason why I want to hook up with you is because they are so family oriented. They were doing an event with the Queen, giving out the MBE awards, and Shireen was holding the baby. I said
Yeah.
anybody who could be that family oriented and still be on this high level. This was a major event. I said I love them already. So they're
Mm.
a dynamic duo, definitely a power
Yes.
couple, and they're going to be
Yes.
ushering in UK gospel all over the world. And so I'm looking forward to
Amen.
working
Yes.
with them continually, as well as you. Now,
Oh, thank you.
you ready for this?
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so moving forward in your musical career, what can we expect next from you?
Whoa. So the album Restored just dropped exactly 2 weeks today, actually.
Yeah.
And it's been doing really well. Okay, what can you expect from me?
Hmm.
Off the album, at least I can say today, there's a brand new music video for the song Spirit Come featuring Tab Worship
Hmm.
coming out in about 2 hours on YouTube. So that is something to look out for. But on the larger scale, because the album is new and I need to sort of, raise awareness of the project and also the songs, I'm doing a lot of ministrations. I can't really tour because of COVID. So I'm literally, because it's not really wise to, yeah, I wouldn't say it's pragmatic to plan a tour just now. So I'm just doing ministrations across the UK. I'm doing virtual appearances across the pond. People listening from the US, if you want to have me at your event, I can do a virtual event as well. But ultimately, for the next few months, it's really about pushing and promoting the album. I have a podcast, however, coming out soon. So that's something to look out for as well. And it's called Church Unboxed. And what we do is talk about the topics that we sometimes are too scared to talk about as Christians. So that's going to be very interesting. But no, it's just going to be quite busy. I am going on a short holiday for 2 weeks from next week, which I'm really looking forward to. So have a break. But yeah, it's just a busy season and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about sharing the songs on Restored, the album, and yeah, blessing people hopefully with the music on the project.
Well, we are your station in the United States that anything that you drop, we're going to work with you.
Oh,
We want to
thank
make you a
you.
household name until we get you here
Amen.
touring all the time. Our
Amen.
friends Andrew and Shireen, we're going to keep on doing what we do together as a family. Now, what Miss Shireen sent me, she sent me the song Secure as the one
Mm.
we're going to push today. Is that okay for you?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites on the album.
Okay,
It is
so
the people's favorite on the album, as a
okay.
matter of fact.
Okay, so let's talk about that, and then I want you to tell everybody where they can find you at. Andrew, if you're still on, if you can put up the link where they can see her video in about 2 hours. But I want to let people know how they can connect with you, how they can learn how to have that accent, and also
Ah!
then I want you to introduce the song.
Yes. So how did Secure come about? Do you want to find out that as well?
I want to know everything about you. Tell us
Everything.
everything.
So here's the thing. I mean, the other day I was thinking to myself, or I was actually thinking to God, what would have happened if I had not gone for a run on the 1st of September 2020? Because what happened was I was running basically on the 1st of September last year, and I was listening to my audio Bible, the book of First and Second Samuel, how God constantly delivered David from Saul and from his other enemies. And as I was running, I just got the inspiration for the song. I just started worshiping and I just started singing, "We are secure in you." Obviously, very out of breath. So it was more like, because I didn't stop, right? I do not like stopping when I'm running. So I brought
Uh-huh.
my phone out. I was still running and I was going, "We are secure." It was so funny. As a matter of fact, I've done a behind the scenes interview with Volney, who's my friend and brother who features on the song. And on YouTube, if you watch the interview to the end, you'll get a snippet of the original voice notes, which I put on YouTube,
Mhm.
and then following that with the actual song, like 30 seconds of the song. But that was how it came about. And I remember going on Instagram on that day and saying it was a new month. So I was like, "Happy New Month, guys. I've just done a 3K run." And guess what? I just received the song. The vamp also, "When my enemies rise," like that came whilst I was running.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Hey, I've just received the song. I've
Okay,
got
so
the chorus and
wait a
the
minute, wait a minute,
bridge."
hold on. You keep on teasing them. You just saying just a little tidbit, and they be like, no, let them hear your voice. You know how we do it.
Yeah, so it goes, "We are secure in you, Jesus. Jesus, you are our safe refuge. You keep us safe from harm.
Yes.
Safe from harm.
Woo. See that lets you know she can sing it. But she said she wrote the song while she was running. Girl, you ain't nothing nice. That's just hotter than fish grease.
So that came whilst I was running, basically,
Yeah.
and then I wrote the verse later because I thought about where David was in that time of his life
Mm-hmm.
and how he mirrored all of those experiences in the book of Psalms. So I went into the book of Psalms and I looked for what he wrote around that time of his life,
Mm-hmm.
reflecting on how he's hiding in God, because that
Mm-hmm.
was the reality. He was hiding behind the rocks and God was
Mm-hmm.
delivering him. And he was using those analogies to say, "God is my rock." You know, a lot of the time he refers in the Psalms to God as his hiding place, as his rock,
Mm.
as his anchor. But in reality, he was actually hiding behind rocks when the enemies were coming. And it just goes to show you how much of a worshiper. The reality of, and I'm going to start, oh God, please help me now. The reality of our relationship with God is the more we realize God is our deliverer, the more we
Mm-hmm.
stop looking at the things that He's blessed us with as the blesser, but as just the blessings. So God gives us things so that we can actually worship Him through them. David looked at the rock and he said, "You are my rock, not this rock that I'm standing behind or standing in
Mm.
the cleft of. You are the rock of my salvation and you are my hiding place." And yet, he was actually hiding in a physical rock. But he attributed that safety to God. And so sometimes we take the blessing and we forget about the blesser. The rock
Mm-hmm.
was his blessing, but he took it and he said, "You are this blessing. You are my security." So that was how the verse came about. I went into the book of Psalms and I looked for where David talked about that period in his life. And then we released the song and it's just been doing wonders since ever since. And on multi-tracks, for those who use multi-tracks for church
Mm-hmm.
resources, worship, choir music, and all of that, you can get Secure for free all through the month of August. It is the
Wow.
track of the month on multi-tracks. And to put it in context, this is where Hillsong, Elevation Worship,
Mm-hmm.
Maverick City. This is where everyone goes to get their resources to sing these people's music, and my
Mm-hmm.
music is there as well. And this month, you can get all the things that you need to sing it in your church. You can get that for free. But yeah, so that's how the song happened, basically.
Wow, you see, you got everybody else saying, "Look, I just put my scuba gear on and I don't went deep water." I absolutely adore you. I
Oh,
adore
thank
your
you.
spirit. I shout out to your husband and your family for standing with you and being your stability and your strength as you all do it together. Um, I'm excited about you. I just want to let you
Oh,
know that
thank you.
we're going to support you. We're going to until you become that household name in the United States
Um,
and around the world. You're going to always be able to call your brothers and sisters here at GOD Radio, and we're going to
thank
push you.
you.
Can you
Oh, thank
introduce
you.
the song, and we're going to play it because everybody done talked about your voice now. They like, oh,
Ah,
they like, it's beautiful. All right,
oh,
preach, girl. You know, we get all kind of good comments in here. I even
that's
got
lovely.
one of the A&R people. Oh, we got to get her and Victoria to do a song together. Victoria's over at Oral
Amen.
Roberts University, and she's doing big things. So everybody's just seeing this ministry and knowing that it is on fire and it's going to spread quickly.
Amen.
So I'm excited for
Amen.
you. So
Amen.
let's introduce the song. Tell people where they can find you, and then we're going to
Yes.
introduce the song.
You can find me on all social media platforms at Sarah Teibo Music. I'm really active and responsive on Instagram, so look me up there and we can always have a good chat. I'm also on YouTube, and obviously I talked about the music video coming out. It's on my YouTube channel, Sarah Teibo Music. Look for the channel with about 3,000 subscribers. That's me. The number's growing, but it's just 3K for now. You're about to listen to my song Secure. This is the lead single for my brand new album Restored, and it's a reassurance and a reminder of the safety we find in the shadow of his wings. Be blessed.
Right here on GODRadio1.com.